So after I did my little review segment on Blood Harvest, I was thinking that maybe I'm gonna start naming all of my episodes Blood something, like the way they would do shitty movies back in the day. Like Blood Anything is a movie. And honestly, I think now I'm probably gonna call this episode Blood Anything. But, you know, whatever it is, Blood Trash, Blood Street, Blood Car, Blood Semi, Blood Bush. These are just things that I'm seeing right now while I drive. But I think I'm gonna go with that theme because why not? I was also thinking about how, and this is gonna be like the old man in me coming out, because I'm old. Back in my day, if you wanted to watch an older movie, it was gonna look like shit. So if you wanted to watch The Exorcist or Rosemary's Baby or something like that, you know, when I was in high school, the first time I saw these, they looked like shit because they were on VHS, and everything on VHS kind of looks like shit. And I was thinking about how lucky kids are now that you can go back and watch these like classic movies and they look brand new. You know, they're like, you can watch them in, I mean, not all of them, but most of them in, you know, like 4K or 2K or whatever. And they just look so clean, and it looks the way a brand new movie would. And that was like a big stumbling block, at least for me, and I think probably for a lot of people, was it's one thing to watch an older movie, but it's another thing to watch a movie that doesn't look good. And I'm watching this Blood Harvest the other night, and I'm like, this is kind of like a B-level movie, but it has this amazing transfer. It looks so good. I think that's awesome, and that is such an advantage and such a, you know, like a perk for like younger people now to be able to get into these classic movies and not have that to, you know, have to get past. You just have to get past like the funny pants and haircuts. It's a lot easier than a shitty transfer. So we're driving from school to work right now, and it has been a challenging week at school. Had a whole bunch of haircuts this week where I felt like I didn't know what I was doing. I don't know, you ever feel like there's a day when you're just like, man, I just do not have it today. This is a steering wheel, by the way. And I don't like that it's in the shot, but this is the only way the camera would sit, so here we are. You know, you're just like, oh, I don't have it, like, whatever reason, like, I just don't have it today. And that's how I felt. And then I had this old guy come in, and he sat down, and I thought it was going to be a crew cut. He's like, oh, you know, I want it long enough on top to be able to part it. It's got to be longer than that, than, you know, just a standard crew cut. If he wants to part it, I need to cut it like this, and I think I overthink things too much. That's why I can't play chess. Like I've tried, and I think too many moves ahead. So I had that haircut. Then I had a older guy come in who was like bald on top, had like the horseshoe. Camera's trying to run away. Had like the horseshoe, you know, and it was a little bit longer, and he's like, I want a taper and this up off the ears. And I'm like, I don't really know how to do that. Like, I can trim it and everything, but I didn't know for sure how to do that and like take it over his ears and leave the length, but not have it be shorter there than anybody else and anybody else anywhere else. I really don't have it today. And then I had a kid today who wanted a faux hawk. I've never done that, and I, you know, looking at it, I've had a faux hawk, but I didn't really know for sure how to do it. Talked to my instructor and stuff. I
realize it, but then when it came to the actual doing of it, it was, you know, it turned out fine, but I need a lot more help than I would have liked with it. So, I don't know. I had a kid the other day that was, like, wouldn't sit still, and it was going to be a hard part, is what his mom said, but then his hair, he had just cowlicks, like, all over, and it wouldn't lay right. I'm like, well, it's not going to be a hard part. Like, there's no, but I'll try, you know. And it just wouldn't lay down, and then he wouldn't sit still for me to part it, and then he wouldn't sit still for me to basically do anything. It was a nightmare. So just like a bad week overall in general. I guess the good news is that, you know, because I had all these things that I didn't know how to do, I had to learn how to do them. Partially, you know, just trying to figure it out on my own, and then partially my instructor coming over and, you know, working on them and fixing them and that kind of thing. But that's good, you know, I have that. So the next time I have to do a faux hawk, at least I'll have an idea of how to approach it. And I do know how to do, like, you know, the up off the ears kind of thing now. Like, I get that. So it was definitely a good learning experience. Other good news, which if you follow me on Instagram, you've seen already, but I was on my way to school today, and there was something in the road, and I drove real slow past it. Like, some kind of animal. And I turned around and I went back, and it was these little guys, which I think are like weasels, or mink or something, but some form of weasel family member, and they're just two of them huddled together in the middle of the road, and I was like, oh my god, they're gonna get run over, and they're just the cutest thing I've ever seen. So I blocked traffic with my car, not that there was like really much traffic, but and got out and tried to, you know, move them off the road. And as soon as I got out of the car and like took one step towards them, they ran right to me. They ran right up, like, to my shoes, and I was trying to, they wouldn't follow me, so I was kind of trying to push them with my shoes, and they're so small that, you know, with my shoe for scale. But they're so small, I was so worried about hurting them, but I also didn't want to, like, pick them up, because I thought, well, they might be afraid, they might bite me, and I don't have any gloves or anything, and the last thing I need to do is have to get like a tetanus shot or a rabies shot or something. So I was just kind of like scooting them real gently with my foot, and they just started like squeaking at me, and like I rolled one to his back, and he just was like, ah, in weasel. But I think they understood by the end, like, that I was just trying to get them off the road, because I got them towards the edge, and they were like, okay, we're gonna just walk over here and lay in the grass. I wanted to take them home with me, but I wasn't going home, I was going to school, and I didn't think that people at school would appreciate me keeping weasels in my station. And I don't know what weasels eat, but they were super cute, and I definitely would have them as pets. I bet they're mean as shit. I bet I could train them to, like, bite people when they come to my house when I want them to leave. Like, I just look at them a certain way, like, look at the weasel, and just bite somebody. That would be awesome. So that's my week.
So I just got home from Brightburn, and I liked it overall. It was, I guess, basically what I expected of it. I couldn't tell from the initial trailer if it was going to be done kind of like a horror movie exactly, or what it for sure was going to be, but I'll say after seeing it, it definitely is a horror movie. Spoiler alert, because I'm definitely going to spoil some things in this. If you ever read the comic Irredeemable, it felt a lot like that, which, I mean, that's what I thought when I saw the first trailer. I thought of Irredeemable, which is basically about a character who is essentially Superman becoming a super villain, and him being like unstoppable. And that's kind of what this story felt like to me, kind of like the origin of a character like that. The gore in it was awesome. Like, all of the kills and all of that, I really dug. There were a few little nitpicky things that I had issues with. One of them's just like a timeline thing, or like maybe it's just a line of dialogue that was weird. They're talking about this happened last night, but it doesn't make sense that it would happen last night. Like it should have been like a few days ago or something like that. That was weird. You know, like I said, all the kills were really good, and it's an interesting story. I really dug the ending. It felt like they were setting up a franchise, maybe, and I hope it's not that. The ending was open to a degree. I mean, like, we know what's going on with the character, kind of, but it was definitely left open to where, like, hey, if we want to make a bunch more of these, we could. But I hope that doesn't happen. It had kind of like a down ending, and I don't think that really happens enough. I feel like it's the kind of story where you got this one chapter of it, and self-contained, it's really good. But if you go trying to tell the other parts of the story, I feel like it might be too much, or it might be like over-explained, or whatever it is, and I think it would be easy to just go too far with it. So if it could stay as this kind of story, then it's like a kind of a special little thing, but I think it could very easily be like overexposed if it was a series of movies. So overall, definitely something to check out. I think, you know, if you like horror movies, and you probably do, or you wouldn't be watching it.